Okay, hi everybody. So we have a 1500 point battle report for you. I've got a weird foot army, but it's actually a flying foot army because there's a full squad of warp spiders, 2 deep striking squads, minimum size of Swooping Hawks. There's a regular Jetbike unit with a Warlock and my Farseer in there, regular Farseer. 2 Warwalkers, couldn't afford the third, running out of points here. Wraithlord, and I'm facing a Space Marine army. Some kind of badness in that. I don't even know what's in there. Some Terminators, I guess, in the Light Raider? Honor Guard and some other awesomeness. Dudes inside here. Space Marine squad inside here. There's infiltrated guys. These are all buildings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buildings, 2 ruins that we have here. And we're actually playing this. We're going to say that the windows here are open because this is just too awesome not to play this. There are snipers in the steeple, just like you'd expect a real military unit to do. Pretty awesome. Look at this cool European-style hamlet that we're fighting over. It's pretty badass. My opponent, we were doing hammer and anvil. My opponent chose that side. I'm on this side, which seems incredibly appropriate because we're the foot army. They are the mechanized army. Pretty awesome. And my opponent's going first unless I can steal initiative. Let's see if I can steal it up. No, I got a 1. So Space Marines are going first. It's going to be an awesome game. Can't wait. And what did I do for my powers? I rolled normally on the divination tree. I got prescience and 4 warning. So 4+ invulnerable, rerolling to hit. And off we go. I also forgot to mention there's an awesome Storm Talon. I've never seen one of these guys in action yet, so that's going to be flying on. And there was also drop pod with like 9 or 10 guys in the librarian in it. And the drop pod has landed behind my army. My God, is this the way Space Marines defend a city? Check that out. They've set up a stalwart defense, and then they've just assaulted behind my back line. Pretty awesome. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Very risky move, but it might pay off. Okay, so rounding up top of turn 1 for Space Marines. These guys came out here. Librarian tried some kind of psychic power, failed and took perils, so he's down to 1 wound. These guys gunned into here, gunned down 3 of my bikes. 2 of them died from lookout sir rolls because I didn't want my guy to get gunned down. And so just, chop me there. But we made our leadership 10. We had to reroll anyways, but we made it on the first try. These guys over here fired a missile and some shooting. Blasted in here, 5 wounds. So I decided to go to ground because they are an area train. We're not playing as mysterious, but it is area train river. And they made their cover save there. So this unit has gone to ground. That tank over there was able to see with just the las cannon there. The one sponson. This jerk over here, he's not very smart. I guess he thought it was a parade, so he's parading down the street with no cover. But luckily the las cannon couldn't wound him. Couldn't actually hit him even with a twin leg. So that was surprising. And the snipers, there's I think 1 missile guy in the sniper unit. He fired at this guy, but couldn't wound him. Hit him, but couldn't wound him. So that was it. This thing blasted into the Jetbike unit as well, but to no avail. So it's on to turn 1. We're going to try to punish these guys for being born over here. See what we can do. Back in a bit. Middle of bottom of turn 1 wrap up because there's a combat starting. What happened? I prescienced these guys to give them rerolls to hit. I gave these guys, the warp spiders, an invulnerable save, despite firing all their strength 6 shooting, all their rerollable strength 6 shooting. I only killed like 3 guys. Can you believe that? These guys were making saves like champions for some reason, but so be it. Those guys over here moved over here through singing spears, exploded the drop pod. It didn't wound any of these units, but it actually killed. It actually put a wound on my Farseer, which I shuttled off to one of the lookoutster guys. So it actually killed a Jetbike. Can you imagine? Unbelievable. But what else happened? This guy fired at these guys along with a snap-shotting crack missile, but no luck. Couldn't get any wounds to stick. 1 wound only caused. This guy fired at the vehicle, but I don't think actually did anything to it at all. Yeah, I couldn't even glance it even once. These guys just moved up, blasted their Bright Lance into it, but again, couldn't even glance it. Unbelievable. So be it, but we've got this combat starting. They tried to assault in, but they rolled double 1s. These guys walked during my turn, so they used their jump packs to make sure they got in there and they got the Hammer of Wrath. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to see what happens in this combat. Hopefully it'll go better than the shooting phase went. Okay, so how did that combat go? Disastrously for Eldar. Despite 18 regular attacks, 8 Hammer of Wrath, because 8 guys were in combat. 4 attacks in a challenge with a power weapon. We caused no wounds, literally no wounds. Complete whiff on my dice. What a disaster. They managed to kill 1 guy in return. We lost combat, but thank God we actually stuck it out in combat. What a total joke, eh? But what are you going to do? And that was it. So, it was on to top of turn 2. See if the reserve comes on, the flying Skyfire guy. He shows up on a 3. 6, sorry. There he is. Back in a bit.
Okay, so top of turn 2, what happened?
Stormtown came in. Didn't go far enough. He misjudged a little bit. He couldn't get the assault cannon into range of my Wraithlord, but the missiles did get in range, and one of them hit him and wounded him. Pretty nice. Took off a wound. I did have 5+ cover because he's an area terrain, but failed there. Over here, my combat continued terribly. I didn't do anything, but luckily he only killed one more guy, and I flew. I hit and ran successfully from here. Successful hit and run back here. And he consolidated back a little bit, and so we are free from this. I cannot believe, but we're going to try this again. My opponent can't keep getting this lucky, so we're going to try our best. Back in a bit with the bottom of turn 2. Let's see if my guys show up. I have my 2 squads of Swooping Hawks, both squads on a 3+. And I'm allowed to re-roll this because my Warlord trait that I rolled allows me to re-roll reserves. So they both come in. I'm not going to re-roll it. I'm happy with that. And back in the bottom of turn 2. So what happened? Combat going over here. One guy left. Despite all my shooting, there's still a guy left. So I had to charge him. Can you imagine that? I couldn't teleport away anywhere, do anything interesting. I had to charge this guy. Well, so be it. I don't want to deal with that guy anymore. So I'm just frustrated. So I'm going after that guy. But what else is happening here? Those guys deep struck in, unfortunately, around here. So they weren't close enough to throw grenades into the building, but they ran enough to space out a little bit. My second squad of Swooping Hawks, unfortunately, landed on the building like a bunch of chumps, and I actually rolled a 1, so they were destroyed. The only dice you can roll. What happened over here? Shot a bunch of stuff in this vehicle that had smoke, penetrated a bunch of times, just kept making 5+. Unbelievable. It's down to 1 hull point though. These guys shot it, tried to assault it, but no luck. They couldn't roll high enough. They rolled only 4 inches despite being on Jetbikes. These guys, though, both managed to roll in. He was real close. This guy was really far, so I got a lucky charge in with this guy. Pretty fluky. I rolled box cars. I needed a 9. He got in there as well. So we're going to see what happens in these 2 combats back in a bit. Okay, so how'd that happen? Yeah, we managed to chop him down. Believe it or not, we couldn't get a single wound to stick with all these guys. We put 3 wounds on him, made all his saves. Finally, the Warwalkers, with their rerolls, because they had prescience, managed to squash his skull there. These guys just wrecked that. Sorry, didn't explode. They wrecked it with their Hammer of Wrath attacks. And that was that. I forgot to mention, they grabbed the relic. That one model there, I think with the Power Fist, has the relic. These guys also fired at that unit before this guy came in here. They fired at him, and they only managed to kill 1 guy, unfortunately. I actually had to run these guys to try to get out of the way to let these guys charge, but they failed their charge anyway, so be it, right? And that is it. So we're on to top of turn 3 in this brutal fight. Back in a bit. Okay, so rounding up top of turn 3. What happened? The guys with this vehicle, guys unloaded from it, went over here. The vehicle moved up a little bit, and those guys with the relic loaded in. Very nice strategic move there. That vehicle popped smoke. The only thing I could have really shot with the heavy bolter, it's not worth it. He's going to pop smoke to prevent my bright lances from having any effect. This guy went into hover mode, so he gained a +1 ballistic skill, and he fired at my Wraithlord over there that was in cover. But couldn't get any wounds to stick. His toughness was too high. Over here, snipers from their steeple were able to see 3 guys. They managed to kill 1. So they're actually able to see just 3 guys that way. There was a 3rd guy there, and they killed 1 of those guys, but no morale save. Shooting from the missile tried to hurt that Wraithlord, but no luck. Shooting from some kind of weapon over there tried to hurt him, but couldn't do it. And that was about it. So we're on to bottom of turn 3 for Eldar. Oh, pardon me, Pedro launched an orbital strike, tried to strike right on here. It drifted over here and killed one of my Jetbikes instead. And we passed our leadership because there's only 4 left in the unit. Back in a bit. Okay, so rounding up bottom of turn 3, what happened? 4+ invulnerable on these Guardians. Reroll to hit with this guy. Now in the shooting phase, shot him with the Bright Lance, hit, but couldn't get through the armor. And so he didn't have to make a save with his 5+. These guys over here machine gunned into that squad of guys, despite causing 6 saves. Only 1 guy died. These guys over here, what happened? I moved in. I just want to get as close as possible. So about half my unit ended up in the dangerous terrain. Of course, my Exarch is the only one who failed his armor save, because you're allowed an armor save now in 6th edition. Of course, my Exarch is the one that failed. And then afterwards, I teleported this way. 1 guy was sucked into the warp as doubles were rolled. So that guy just is not coming back.
Over here, I moved this guy, moved through cover, of course, so rolled 6 for that, got in there, and I'm assaulting that, so I'm about to assault this vehicle that has the relic inside. This guy moved up over here. With the combination of his shooting these guys, we gunned down that entire unit. They all had artificer armor, but we gunned them all down before they could do anything. We were going to assault them with everything here, but, you know, I guess we didn't have to. And that was about it. Crack missile there. Tried to fire again, you know, massive cover on that guy because he's behind a bunch of buildings, but we missed him anyways. And over here, my Swooping Hawks decided to wipe out the scouts that were in the building. They all came in here. They have blast grenades, so they're all within 2 inches of one of the fire points of the building. D6 hits from every single one. AP4 wiped out that entire squad of snipers right away. So we're on to this combat, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, rounding up. So what happened? Hammer of Wrath. Didn't do anything to him, unfortunately. I decided not to smash because I wanted to have my 3 attacks rather than 2. After that Hammer of Wrath failed, I needed all 3 of those to do something. 3 hits, but only 2 hull points, 1 glance, 1 penetration. Penetration just made it so he can't shoot, so that wasn't too helpful, but he is down to 1 hull point now.
2 hull points.
No, I had a glance and penetration.
Yeah, Land Raider has 4 hull points.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it has 4 hull points. Yeah, how could I forget, yeah. So he's got 4 hull points on that total, so he's down to 2. And we're on to top of turn 4, coming right up. Rounding up top of turn 4, man. What a rough turn, but at least we're still alive. So this vehicle moves away a little bit. Power Machine Spirit and some snap firing into this guy. Took away 1 wound. The multi-melt just zodded him. Managed to actually wound him after hitting him with all that stuff. This guy over here said enough of these Swooping Hawks. Gunned down every single one of them. 3 of them died instantly. One of them had to make 2 and 4 plus cover saves because he was half behind that ridge there, but he didn't do it. And that was about it. Oh no, sorry. Pedro blasted 2 of these guys to death. But they had 9 guys, so it still wasn't a Morale, so be it over there. And it is on to turn 4. I need to crack that vehicle open so that I have a chance to charge the guys inside because I want to actually be able to hold the relic by turn 5. I don't know if that's going to work, man, but we're going to try our best. Back in a bit. I could have really used that 1 Swooping Hawk. Okay, so rounding up middle of bottom of turn 4, combat starting. What happened? On our turn, I gave rerolls to hits on these guys, actually. Even though I used my guns, I knew I wanted to go into combat, so I gave them reroll to hit in combat. I gave this guy the invulnerable save. No, sorry, this guy the invulnerable save because he has 2 wounds. I basically moved stuff up, fired a lot of stuff into the vehicle. It was actually the bright lance from these guys. These brave little guardians got in there, zodded the vehicle, got a penetration, and rolled high enough to explode him. So managed to wreck it open. These guys fired into that unit, gunned down the whole unit except for the sergeant holding the relic. This guy charged, they charged, he failed. These 2 guys made it into combat though, so they're in there. And over there what happened? Those warp spiders moved up, gunned into that unit, killed 3 out of 4 of them, and the Warwalkers finished off the lone missile launcher that was in that building, just cleansed them off the board there. Those guys tried to help firing with some shooting, but to no avail over there. And we're going to see what happens in this combat. I hope it'll go well for me. Okay, rounding up into combat, what happened? We charged in there. Hammer of Wrath, 2 wounds from these guys. No wounds from him because he rolled a 1 on his strength 10. But then the sergeant issued a challenge, which my Wraithlord gladly accepted and just squashed him instantly because he had a power fist, so he couldn't go, and I just squashed him. We consolidated 5 inches, 1 inch over here. So we're going to see what happens on top of turn 5. Okay, so top of turn 5, what happened? Pedro stepped out of the building. You're not allowed to assault out of a building, so he just stepped out, gunned into those jetbikes, got 3 wounds on them, but we made all our saves. This guy decided to hover because he was actually aimed this way. So 90 degrees would have put him this way, and minimum 18-inch move would have actually put his back out here, so he would have overshot everything. So he decided to take the more dangerous route, hover, get a better ballistic skill, but be in danger of these guys shooting him, and instead gun down 4 guardians really easily. Now I forgot to mention at the top of turn 5 we rolled for night fighting because when we rolled turn 1 it didn't happen. It actually happened, so night has fallen over the battlefield. So hence they had shrouding. So I made a bunch of 5+, but I failed almost all of them. So anyways, that unit died. But there's 3 guys left from it, pardon me. Rerollable leadership. Thank God for the reroll. I failed my first roll, got the second roll. That is it. So we're on to bottom of turn 5. The jaws are closing in on their last survivors. Okay, so bottom of turn 5, Prescienced and gave the invulnerable save to this guy. They moved up, captured the relic. A bunch of shooting. These guys over here just blasted off the 2 hull points, 2 glances, blasted it to smithereens. This guy came in here, shot 1 wound off of Pedro Cantor from his Shuriken cannon, but then in charge managed to just squash him before he could go with his power fist, and that was the game. So a good close game in the end. That's a crazy thing with the drop pod really paid off, a lot more than I was expecting it to, but so be it, man. Thanks for the game. Again, a good battle over this European hamlet. Cool.